2.0 Prerequisite Skills, Right Angle Trigonometry. Okay, when working with fractions, the following rules must be followed. So when adding or subtracting fractions, what we need to do is we need to find a common denominator. And then once we have the common denominator, what we do have to do is add or subtract the numerators. Okay, when multiplying fractions, all we do is multiply across. So in other words, numerator times numerator, and that's going to be over the denominator times the denominator. Now when dividing fractions, we are going to actually multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, example 1, simplify. So we have 3 over 8 and 3 over 16. Okay, and we're going to add them. So when we're adding, we need to find a common denominator. So when I'm thinking of multiples of 8, I get 8, 16, 24, and so on. Well, 16 is a multiple of 8, so we can use that one directly. Okay, so we don't have to change the 3 over 16. That one's just going to come down. But the first number, we're going to multiply by 2 over 2. And just on this idea of paper, what is 2 over 2? What does that equal? Well, it equals 1. So we're actually not changing 3 over 8. We're just making it look a little bit different. Right? We're just multiplying by 1. So we get 6 over 16. Now all we want to do is add the numerators. 6 plus 3, I get 9. Denominator stays the same. Okay, for B, we're multiplying 8 over 12 times 6 over 8. What we do is we multiply across. So we would multiply 8 times 6, which is 48. And we'd multiply 12 times 8, which is 96. And if we put 48 divided by 96 in our calculator, like you're going to see that it's going to equal 0.5. So we know that this is going to equal a half. What we would do is we would divide both of these by 48, and we would get 1 over 2. Okay, C. We have 2 3/4 divided by 7/4. So we can't do anything with mixed numbers, so let's convert this into a whole number. We multiply, and then we add. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So we get 11 over 4. Okay, divided by 7 over 4. So from our chart at the top, we know that we can't divide fractions. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So we'll copy down the 11 over 4, but instead of dividing, we're going to multiply, and we're going to switch this to the reciprocal, 4 over 7. Okay, we could have identified this in B, but take a look at this. We have 11 over 4 and 4 over 7. Do you notice that there's a 4 in the numerator and a 4 in the denominator? If there's a 4 in the numerator and a 4 in the denominator, we can cancel those out, and we get 11 over 7. Referencing back to B, we had 8 over 12 and 6 over 8. There was an 8 in the numerator and an 8 in the denominator, which would leave us with 6 over 12, which is much easier to see that this is 1/2 than 48 over 96, right? Those numbers just get a little bit big. Okay, and D, 12 minus 1/2 minus 4 2/5. So let's write all of these as fractions. So I get 12 over 1 minus 1/2 minus 5 times 4 is 20. Plus 2 is 22 over 5. Now, because we're adding and subtracting, we need a common denominator. So we have 1, 2, and 5. So 1s are going to go with everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 5, 10. Okay, so all we're doing is patterning and then finding a common multiple. So we get 10. So this first fraction, we're going to multiply by 10 over 10 so that the denominator equals 10. The second fraction, we're going to multiply by 5 over 5 so that the denominator equals 10. And the third fraction, we're going to multiply by 2 over 2 so that this denominator equals 10. So I get 120 over 10 minus 5 over 10 minus 44 over 10. And all we have to do is add or subtract the numerators. 120 minus 5 minus 44 is 71. So I get 71 over 10. Okay, when solving proportions, the method of cross multiplication can be used. So example 2, solve. So we have x over 3 equals 1 over 5. We're going to multiply this 3 up. Okay, so on this side of the equal sign, we're going to get 3. We're going to multiply this 5 up, so 5x. Now divide both sides by 5, and we get x equals 3 over 5. Okay, when looking at ratios, if we have x to 5 equals 8 to 2, this x and this 8 actually go together, and then this 5 and this 2 go together. So all we'd have to do is cross multiply. So multiplying the 8 up, we'd get 8 times 5, which is 40, and multiplying the 2 up, we would get 2x. Now we go ahead and divide both sides by 2, and we get 20. Okay, and see, we're looking at a ratio with 3 digits. So 3 to 1 to 2 equals 12 to A to B. Now, we're going to put the 3 and the 12 over top of each other, and that's going to be the same ratio as 1 over A and 2 over B. Now we have a full ratio here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the first two. So let's equate 3 over 12 equals 1 over A. Cross multiply up the 12, cross multiply up the A. We get 3A. Then we can divide out the 3. We get A equals 4. Now, in another color, we're going to use 3 over 12 and 2 over B, right? We need a full ratio, the 3 over 12. And then we'll equate it to 2 over B, solve for B. So, cross multiply the 12 up. 12 times 2 is 24. Cross multiply the B up, we get 3B. And divide out by 3. So we get B equals 8. Okay, example 3. Find the measure of each indicated angle. So we have angle X and we have angle 38. And if you notice, these are on a straight angle here. Straight angles equal 180 degrees. So let's go angle O equals 180 minus 38. And whatever we're left with is just going to be this X. Oh, we could also call it X. So 180 minus 38, I get 142. So X equals 142 degrees. Okay, this is called supplementary angles. When 2 or 3 or 4, when angles add up to 180 degrees. Okay, in B, we're going to use opposite angles. A little bit more easier to see and not a lot of work. So this is 35, So opposite 35 is y. This is also 35. Now this is 145. Opposite is x. This is 145. Okay, now we have C. We're going to use opposite angles. So for example, we need angle F, C, H, and G. Put that there. Okay, this is 30 degrees, so F is 30 degrees. That one's done. Okay, now we're going to use the C pattern here. So angle G is going to equal 180 minus 30. Angle G is 150. If 150 is here, 150 is also here. We don't need to actually solve for that one, so I'm not going to write it down. But then what we're going to take a look at is supplementary angles. So these two angles add to 180. So angle C is going to be 180 minus 150, which is 30. And then if we look at C and H, these are opposite, so 30 degrees. Okay, D. Inside this triangle, the sum of the degrees in a triangle is 180. So we have 30, 42, and x. So x is going to be 180 minus 30 minus 42. So angle x is going to be 108 degrees. Now, x and y are going to equal 180 as well because of supplementary angle theorem. So angle y equals 180 minus 108. I get 72. So this one's 72 degrees.